Hey guys, Josh here. Today we are here to review the second day of testing from the second Barcelona test ahead of the F1 2016 season. Let's get straight into it then, talking about the slowest driver today, and that was Esteban Gutierrez, who failed to set a single lap, just one lap in the car for him. An awful day for Haas. A turbo issue for them forced Gutierrez out for the whole of testing today. They should be back tomorrow though, when Grosjean will be in the Haas, but yeah, not a very good day for them, and not much optimism around that team, especially today. Bit of a down day really for them. Gene Haas saying, Formula 1 is much more of a challenge than he first expected, and he does feel quite overwhelmed by all these problems Haas are facing. And really, their test has just got worse and worse, really. I mean, their first week was pretty decent, but yesterday, they had a couple of failures, a fuel system failure, and they only got, about 23 laps in yesterday and just one lap today. It's been a dismal second week for them, with the F1 season, of course, starting at just 2 weeks on Sunday. It's, a big turnaround is needed, because I do think at the start of the season they could be very, very unreliable, especially if they can't get these kind of, small, small major issues really out of the way. It could be a really, really big problem for them. The second slowest team today was Sauber. That was Marcus Ericsson. He did a 1:27.862 on the medium times. 55 laps for the Sauber team. Of course, this is their first week really of testing with their new car, and it's pretty much to be expected really, having these kind of issues. He ended up in the gravel towards the end of the session with just 3 wheels, so of course the implication there is he's either spun and smashed his car up, or I think more likely that one of the tyres was not fitted correctly and he's just gone sailing off really with just 3 tyres on the car. Anyway, either way, driver error or not, the fact is it wasn't a good day for Sauber really. Problems in the morning as well, meaning they only got 55 laps in. But still, it's been a decent first week for Sauber. Things are probably, going to get a lot better for them. That's to be expected, and really, there were always going to be issues when, you're rolling out of your car, until the last week of testing. Just 4 days of testing to get ready for a 21 race calendar is really, really tough for the Swiss team. So props to Sauber for really, really going for it, but didn't quite work out for them today. Although, of course, I think they should have a much better final 2 days of testing. Pascal Wehrlein was in the Manor today, and he was 10th fastest. Just 79 laps for him. Manor certainly haven't really been up there in terms of, getting the laps in. I think they've been, set the least laps of anyone really throughout these 2 weeks. Maybe they might have overtaken Haas now, but certainly they are, right down there. It's an interesting one really. Of course, they've got that new Mercedes engine. It's going to be very tough to integrate that fully, but they've done a decent job of it so far. 10 fastest then for Wehrlein, 1:27.0. Not nearly as fast as he was last week, but of course, Manor not going for lap times. And, of course, we'll see Rio Haryanto back in the car tomorrow. Oh, sorry, on the final day, I think. Is it Wehrlein back in the car? I can't quite remember, but when we do see Haryanto back in the car, I hope he can do a full race simulation, because it's been very limited running for the whole Manor team, really, and especially for Rio Haryanto. So I hope things do pick up for the Manor team. They've had a quiet start to this final week of testing, but I guess, that's not an entirely bad thing. Nico Rosberg was 9th fastest then. Of course, Mercedes this week are splitting driving duties between both Hamilton and Rosberg. Both of them are sharing the car for every single day. One of them in the morning, one of them in the afternoon. Rosberg then, decent day for him in the Mercedes, 91 laps completed, 1:26.2 on the medium tyres, compared to Lewis Hamilton, who did a 1:23.6 on the soft compound tyres. So, Nico Rosberg, of course, not really going for lap time, was slower than the likes of Sainz and Perez on the same tyre. So, of course, that pretty much shows Mercedes not going for 1 lap pace, but certainly their reliability is impeccable. But they were actually beaten today by a team, which I'll come on to a bit later. Sergio Perez was 8th in his Force India, 1:26.188 for him, set on the medium tyres, 128 laps for Force India. One of their best days of testing so far. Some really, really good running done for them, and a very interesting car design as well they've gone with this year. We've seen some kind of close-up shots as well over these last few days, and really got a better picture of what this new Force India looks like, and especially the rear wing as well. Some very interesting parts in there. Quite a few kind of slits, in kind of 4 areas on the rear wing. It's pretty standard, but but a bit more developed or even a few of the other midfield teams. So it looks like Force India does have a really, really neat aero package on that car, which means they could be one of the fastest teams in the early part of the year, and also Toro Rosso could be. I genuinely believe Toro Rosso have a decent chance of some success this year, and even a decent chance of some podiums this year. 125.3 for them on the medium tyres, but the main thing is that they just had a really, another really reliable day, and it is quite remarkable, really. Some, good running for Carlos Sainz today, which is really good to see. They even managed to beat the Mercedes as well on the number of laps set, just I think by about 2 laps. So really good effort from Toro Rosso today. Overall, a really solid and strong day for them. Red Bull 125.235 for them on the medium tyres, just ahead of the Toro Rosso and quite clear of the Force India. But certainly, the battle between Toro Rosso and Red Bull is interesting, and something interesting that Christian Horner said, I believe, that he actually thinks that Toro Rosso may be ahead of Red Bull in the early part of the year, and that's not really a worry for them because they believe they could be a lot stronger in the second half of the year, and of course 2017 as well, with the focus kind of shifting a bit more on to aerodynamics. I mean, of course, it's still going to be an engine formula, but certainly Red Bull are going to be looking forward to new regulations coming in, and of course engine regs as well being freed up. And on the topic of regulations, the new quali system has been revealed today. Again, it's been updated once more, and I really do like the changes. Basically, if you don't know, I'll just keep it short. Q3 is now going to be left alone practically, apart from the fact that it will now be the fastest 8 drivers. And then in Q1 and Q2 we'll have this elimination idea, and I actually do quite like it. Now I've had more time to think about it, digest, and now they've changed a few things. It does sound a lot better, and one thing, very important thing, it's going to be implemented from Australia onwards, so that's really good news. We don't have to wait until round 5. There's not going to be a mid-season rule change, a major one, so that's really good to see. It's going to be from qualifying at number 1. Anyway, Jenson Button was 5th in his McLaren. They were trialling out a front nose today and just running a few different parts on the front end of the car. Of course, we know the rear of the McLaren is really good, but still a bit of work to be done on the front and their suspension and kind of wishbones. Not quite up there really with some of their rivals, but certainly a really good day of testing for Jenson Button. 2 race simulations in, 121 laps, so of course, about 55 laps I think the race is around Spain, so yeah, over 2 race distances done. Not race simulations, I shouldn't really say that, race distances done, and I do believe they did do a race simulation as well, so some really solid running for Button, some solid running for the whole field really, and that's because we only had 1 red flag today, so that probably suggests why we had so many laps completed today. 125.183 then for Jenson Button on the soft compound tyres. A really good day for McLaren Honda yet again, and things are certainly looking up for them, because it was looking pretty dismal towards the back end of last week. There's suspension problems as well today, but they managed to overcome that and still set a very decent amount of laps. So props to the McLaren team. Things are certainly looking up for them. Got pretty decent pace as well, so I'm excited to see how fast the McLaren is going to be in Melbourne, but let's hope at least it is reliable at the very least. Kevin Magnussen in the Renault, great day for the Renault team. 123.933, 126 laps done, and they got through the whole of their program because they're doing pit stop practice at the end of the day, and then they just kind of finished early because they just got through everything they wanted to do. Also trialing out a front nose as well, just like McLaren were. Well, I'll say a new nose. They were doing front nose work, of course, trialling a few smaller different parts on that Renault. Of course, we do expect to see quite a few aero changes as well to the Renault by Australia. Super soft tyres, though, that lap time was set on. So, in terms of lap time, it's not that impressive, but in terms of reliability and in terms of just confidence of the team and how they're getting through things, it's just vastly different, really, to last week. So, great to see Renault up there and, running very reliably. Lewis Hamilton was second then on a 123.622, as I mentioned before, on the soft tyres, 73 laps for him. Another great day for Mercedes, for both Hamilton and for Rosberg, and even in terms of lap time as well, that lap time is very impressive, just like the lap time we saw yesterday as well. You know, especially if you compare it to Vettel's lap on the ultra soft tyres last week. I do hope we're going to see another kind of, at least a super soft run from Ferrari and a super soft run from Mercedes before the week closes. I actually thought we were going down into the 121s this week, but so far that prediction is far from true. Anyway, fastest today then was Valtteri Bottas in his Williams, 123.261 for him, set on the super soft tyres, 108 laps. Great day for the Grove team, and a great day for the Finnish driver, ending the session fastest then for the first time in this testing kind of season. And of course, speaking of the season, just 2 weeks on Sunday, I'm very, very excited then. We got the new quali rules then today, which I've already mentioned. Problems for Sauber and Haas today. Really, really good day for Renault, Mercedes and Williams, and good day for McLaren as well, which is good to see. Ferrari is still up there as well. Don't discount them yet. Pretty decent lap really from Vettel from on those medium tyres, but still not as quick as Mercedes were on the medium tyres before. And in terms of, Toro Rosso versus Red Bull, it could be actually very close towards the start of the season. Still not quite sure where Force India fits into all of this, and the same with Manor as well. Anyway, that rounds out then all the action from day 2 of this second Barcelona test. I will see you guys tomorrow then for my review of day 3. Until then, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.